Morning, everybody. We're in a cafe in Queensland somewhere, Brisbane. Just trying to catch up with Jamie today, and if there's any noise, please excuse us. Talking about some of the acronyms that we get involved with or talk to clients about and what they're trying to achieve at the minute. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier was the AMP and the SAMP, and whether it's electrical or not.
Amps are, obviously.
Amps are, yeah, and he plays some wicked guitars to it, apparently. I can. But so what's the difference?
So your SAMP is your strategic asset management plan.
Right.
That can also be part of the strategic business plan of an organisation.
Right.
And it's how they set out their objectives of what they want to achieve as a business, which includes asset management and how to basically what they want the outcomes for the stakeholders.
Right. So is that directly linked to property, or is it across all sorts of different things? Or
all sorts. I mean, it can be just property. It depends on the organisation. It depends on what their plan is, what their strategic plan is moving forward.
Yeah.
It can, like I say, the SAMP strategic asset management plan can roll into the strategic business model.
Yeah.
It's just dependent on how the organisation wants to set that up.
Right.
But it gives the fundamentals of what the stakeholders want for that organisation and what they want to achieve in the long term.
Yeah. So is it fair to say that businesses would be more likely to have a SAMP in place because they're thinking this is what we want to do, but the AMP bit, which you're going to talk about, which is the implementation piece,
absolutely,
is a bit harder.
Yes, and that's the thing, because the AMP, asset management plan, that basically outlines how you're going to achieve your objectives from the SAMP.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more work in that, because you've got to go into asset management system modelling, how you're going to deliver it, what stages you're going to deliver it, and how the organisation basically achieves what they've set out for the stakeholders in the SAMP.
So the SAMP potentially comes from the exec?
Yes.
Sweet executive level,
yes.
Directors. And the AMP is about trying to get everybody else to.
Absolutely. And the AMP also takes the baseline information that you get from collecting of the asset information on site, so that you know what you've got to maintain.
Right.
You know the age, you know the number of assets you've got, and then
your
liabilities from insurance. Exactly. Great point. And then you model it and how you're going to deliver it, and that's all done in the AMP, which is going to be a bigger document than the SAMP, because it's more in depth, and it gives you the roadmap for achieving those objectives.
And do you think there's sort of a scale of business that would go down this route? So if it was a private owner and they own a 12-story building, it's unlikely that they're going to do it, isn't it? You know, whereas if you've got where you used to work in non-for-profit, they want to be whatever they aim to be as a strategy. They've got to understand the portfolio so that they can take it down there.
Yeah, absolutely. But it also does work in single facility organisations, especially if you've got a tower block in the city, right? You need to maintain all them systems. You've got critical statutory systems in there, like your fire systems, life system.
Yeah.
You've got your emergency lighting system, everything like that. You've got to have a plan in place to maintain it. Otherwise, things get missed and get lost. And compliance is a huge part of it.
Right. So it's understanding what you've got, that baseline, feeding it into what the overall intent is.
Yes.
So I know councils, for example, they'll be looking, I want to have more libraries, or I want to have better outdoor space, or whatever. They'll understand what they've got and go, well, where am I going to spend the money? I'll sell that in order to do this, or we'll redevelop that in order to do that. So that's the strategy bit, and then off you go and deliver. So
and with asset management, you've got three models that you can use to create that. So you've got your strategic model, which is your asset management concept model, which looks at the strategic thinking of an organisation. So that's looking at value, alignment, assurance, and leadership.
Right.
And that's a balance of cost, performance, and risk.
Right.
And then you move into your asset management system modelling, which then basically tells you, it's a technical piece that tells you how you want to do that, what you need to put in place to achieve it. And then you've got your capability delivery model, and that's your operational model. And that's how it's all implemented. Now, you can build your SAMP and AMP through that structure, and it keeps consistency,
Right.
and it adds value. And that's the biggest part of asset management is value add.
And making sure things run the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So you can get the value
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Not waste time, eh?
Yeah,
It's interesting, isn't it?
very
Big subject again.
huge, and it's endless. It's an endless scope if you want it to be.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I think some clients are a bit wary of is how far do we go, how far do we don't.
And that's where the clients come to us and sit down with us. We can advise them and direct them. We can sit down together, make that scope up. Because, like I say, it's endless. So you can go any route you want. There's no roadblocks on it unless you put them on yourself. We're there to assist and make sure that business gets what they want out of their assets, out of their portfolio. Like I say, it's all about value, and big thing is it's all solution based as well. Requirements. What's the requirements of your business, your organisation? What do you want to achieve? So it's about requirement management, which is solution focused.
So you only do what you need to do in order to meet the SAMP. So the SAMP and the AMP.
Sample, yeah.
See you next time. Thank you.